Welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast, now part of the Work Defined Podcast Network. Join us as we explore the vital role of compensation, strategy, data, and people analytics in navigating today's complex business world. With the resources of Work Defined, we're bringing you deeper insights and actionable ideas from top HR experts. Now, here are your hosts, David Turetsky and Dwight Brown. Hello and welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast. I am your host alongside my co-host, best friend, partner in crime from Salary.com, Dwight Brown. Dwight, how are you?
David Turetsky. I'm good. How are you doing?
I am okay, but I am great today. You know why?
I know why.
You know why. We have with us our friend, Carlee Wolfe from Hyatt. Carlee, what up?
What's going on? I'm ready. I'm ready for this great conversation today. That's what's up.
Yes, we are too.
I'm excited.
We are too. And one of the fascinating things about this particular episode, Dwight, I think this is it, isn't it? Isn't this the episode?
The episode?
Yeah, the number.
Yep.
Carlee, this is the 250th episode of the HR Data Labs podcast.
I didn't even know. I would have brought a sign. I would have worn, I don't know, a shirt. I would have done some face painting or something. I would have done something.
You would have brought a cake.
This is great.
Yeah.
So cake with the, 250 candles on the cake.
Yes. So there would be a cake.
Congratulations. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, what's fascinating is he and I were talking about in the last episode, and I think that was 249. And so this one becomes 250. And we couldn't have done it without our wonderful guests. And it's exemplified by one of our favorite guests and one of our best guests, Carlee Wolfe.
Yes.
Okay, can I turn the turn the table on this, which is 250 episodes in? What's I don't know, what are you most proud of, or what are you looking back that you're like, I'm so glad we did, 250. This is the moment. I don't know, what's your reflection on this?
I'm not the
podcast host, but I'm going to put the question out, which is because it's amazing. You do so much for everybody with the conversations and the amazing guests you have. How do you feel about that?
Dwight, why don't you start?
Yeah.
No, we appreciate that. I'm most proud of just the variety of different guests that we've had and the variety of different viewpoints that we've gotten out to the world through the podcast.
Yeah.
It's, in a way you feel like a journalist, I'm helping inform. I see that look, David. We're helping inform people. We're helping them think in different ways and see things in different ways. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to get a fedora now, because now we can put the card in the fedora to be the actual journalist and have a on it.
Yes.
And I'll echo Dwight's sentiment. I think I'm proud of the fact that it's become more about being able to disseminate what's happening in the world of human resources in a more in beyond the original intent, which was just analytics and people data. And now we really take on so many different things, and it's changed over time. 5 years, it's changed a lot in 5 years.
Wow.
So I'm also proud that we've actually been able to keep it going almost every week for 5 years, which is very hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. Sometimes harder than others.
Yes. Well,
I mean, we have ebbs and flows where there are days where we're like, how are we ever going to fit everybody in? And we've got days of, holy crap, we need an episode. We need to get this going. And but that's
also
part of what makes it fun too.
Well, yeah, and the day job makes it challenging, but we do this for thought leadership. We do this to tell stories and to be able to spread the word. So
right.
Totally.
And if it wasn't fun, we wouldn't do it. So thanks for the question, Carlee. As you can tell, we can actually have an entire podcast on this.
And I think you should. Favorite moments, biggest learnings, biggest what was that? How did we get there? Maybe looking back in 5 years, what's the biggest change you've seen? I don't know. There's so many plays you can have on this.
That's a great question.
Well, and one other play for me is how close it's gotten David and I to each other. Because if you think about it, you think about talking with your best friend and having those deep talks with your best friend. And he and I get to do that once, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week
Yeah.
and we bring in other best friends, just like you know?
Yeah, exactly. The relationships are really it's never been the goal, but it's always been the direct end result of these kind of conversations. And I wish I could hug everybody, every guest that we have. And the beautiful part of being able to go to things like HR Tech and Meeting of the Minds and other events is we actually get to hug a lot of our listeners, but we get to also hug a lot of the guests too, who've made us resplendent with brilliant conversations like yourself. So we look forward to that time when we get to give you a hug, a virtual hug right now. I
know. Well, I should say that it does, absent of like a human to human hug, there is like a welcoming. So like before and after you get to say hello and then goodbye, there is that moment of amongst friends again, where you're like, what's going on? How's your day? I mean, we do that here too, but there is a difference of stepping back in home, if you will, and that welcome. So I get it. But I bet the relationships are impactful too. Just, I think, how you host the show, right? There's a component of, right, we're all chatting about something and your guests get to talk about things they're passionate about or involved in. And I think we're all very passionate about what we do and the impact that we have in our craft and in the world. And how do you not connect with people in human ways on those topics? So I'm not surprised to hear that. And I think I'm glad that that's been a part of it, because that's why I come back too. I really appreciate the relationships, because the conversation is meaningful, right?
I just gave her a heart.
Yeah, right back.
And so that being said, let's turn the page and go to, because the Love Fest is
all right,
lovely.
but congratulations, 250, that's huge. 5 years, you have to.
Thank you.
Maybe you should do a special episode, but for now, congratulations to you both.
Yeah, let's do that, Dwight.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about one fun thing that no one knows about Carlee. I mean, everybody knows about Carlee now because she's been on so much, but any new fun things that no one knows about you?
New fun things. Every season I try to do something new. And we're going to talk about community today. And one of the things that I started in the pandemic was to learn how to golf. And because for years, people were like, if you want to learn how to golf, you definitely need time for it. Well, guess what? I like a whole lot of time, and I wanted to be outside. So why am I sharing this? Because it actually ties in. So we're going to talk about nonprofit boards. One of the silly, cheesy things that I wanted to learn to golf for was to go to a charity event, because I'm like, what are people doing outside all day at these golf charity events?
Carlee.
I'm for sure. Like, we know that's the underlining answer, but that was part of the goal. I want to go to a charity event. And I went to my first golf charity event a few weeks ago with one of the nonprofits I support. So that's fun awesome intersection milestone. Maybe I'm over cheesing on the topic, but it was actually really important for me. I was like, good. You set yourself up for a goal. Yeah. I love golfing now, and boom.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I lost the love for golf when I started getting too frustrated after every swing. So, and Dwight and I have been, we've been at Topgolf together, and he's seen my swing, and he knows why.
I like to say that my pitching arm gets really good when I golf.
Really? Yeah.
That ball wasn't in the rough.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were going to say that at Topgolf, because I have seen people throw the ball down to try to get the point versus call.
Yeah, I probably would have had better luck if I had done that.
No. So let's talk about our topic today, because it's going to actually be a really fun one. So we're going to be talking about nonprofits and how to get involved and how to be on boards and what's the big deal.
What I love about the Workforce Agility Limited series by Cornerstone was we talked to executives and customers all about skills. Cornerstone has a wonderful background in learning and development, training, etc. Their LMS is world class, but they've centered the business now, not just on that, like building upon that, but building upon how everything is moved to the skills economy. So check out the limited series called Workforce Agility, and you can get it wherever you get your podcast. And it's just a wonderful series where we talk to their executives on the shift of why, and also their customers that are using it. So check it out whenever you get a chance. Appreciate it.
Carlee, our first question is, we think about being on boards as a really big deal, but nonprofits really need a lot of help and they look for volunteers to be on boards. So tell us, what's the big deal about being on a board? And, tell us about your story about it.
Yeah. I think the big thing about being on a board, whether it be nonprofit, for-profit, sort of any entity, is you're helping set and support and steward the strategic direction of the organization, right? You're kind of that body that supports the ultimate mission of where the organization is heading. And so specifically nonprofit board work, you're impacting communities and causes. And these are all things that are really, really important to everything from who's next door to us to like the broader spectrum of the world. And I can't think of a better time to also be talking about impact in the world than right now.
Right.
And so that is why the boards are important. They help move the mission forward. Are we staying on track with that long-term vision? Are we, hitting things that are most impactful with the best kind of reach? Is our voice consistent? Are we staying financially stable? How are the health of the company both in what we're delivering and the people, right? Sort of name it. And so that's the value. And I think, as you said, nonprofits need skilled, passionate folks to serve on their boards. And I've chatted with a lot of folks that are like, I'd love to do it. How do I get involved? And so that's what we're going to kind of kick around today.
Yeah.
And you asked about my story. I've volunteered, I don't want to say my whole life, but a big chunk of my life. And as I got older, and got more involved, I started thinking both professionally, but also more in my community, can I serve on a nonprofit board? I'd love to do that. How do I get involved? And even in organizations that I was volunteering with, they'd be like, well, just ask.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, ask who? Like, what do you mean just ask? Like, I just say, like, Can I be on your board? And by the way, it turns out like the answer, that is the yes. Like you can just ask people, can I be on your board? But I think it just feels like a distance for a lot of people. And I was there too. And when I talk to more people, they're like, I don't know how to do it. It just feels weird because there's not an application. I don't network. I don't, So yeah, that's my personal story.
Yeah. I mean, but if you think about it, people always look at boards and they go, wow, that's a board of directors. That's up high. I don't know why. Why would they ask for me? What's in it? What's in it for them to have me on there? And, what's in it for me? And so the answer to that question is, as you were saying, you have skills that you've developed in your career that other people, and no matter what part of the world you're in from a professional perspective, you can find a board that will need your skills. Now, there are boards on your town. There are boards for your YMCA, for your church or synagogue, for your local community centers, for charities, the Red Cross. There are so many places that are looking for volunteers that have that, not just for boards, but also for other executive positions, but for boards mostly, we're going to talk about today, that need your help from a strategic direction perspective, right?
Totally. And I think I love the spectrum that you provided, because that was a big learning for me. I was thinking like, oh, it's an organization. It's just, I don't know. Fill in the blank, Boys and Girls Club of America, Boys and Girls Club community. But you're right. It's also cities and towns and schools and all these things. So the spectrum is wide. And you said something important too, which is everyone has skills, everyone has experience, and then they can marry that with their passion. Yeah. And part of the search in the nonprofit board work, to your point, it's literally nonprofit board, but it could be committees, it could be advisory work. There's a lot of roles you can play. And so I think part of exploring also the journey, if you will, what could it be, is, well, what can you give? What skills do you have? How much time do you have?
Right.
What strategic level do you want to sit at? Because then when you go have that conversation, it becomes a dialogue. It's important to have a fit on both sides.
Yeah, you need that. You need the different viewpoints that are there, and so often it seems like that's probably more the benefit of the board to the organization than necessarily the skills that we bring into it.
For sure. And I'll just give one example. I work with an organization here in Maryland, and they're focused on youth empowerment, and they have a parent on their board, and I think that's incredible. Like, why wouldn't you? You're impacting the
Yeah.
youth. Parents play a
Right.
huge role in that. They should be a part of the strategic conversation. So I think skill set perspective runs in so many ways, and I pick on that one because in that case, it's the customer, right? That's sitting there and helping.
Yeah, and I would just want to add though that do this for positive reasons.
Totally.
Don't do it because you have a thorn in your foot or you're mad about something. Because
Right.
what you'll find is that you're going to have your eyes open to there's a lot of constituencies that are part of this, and just because you're angry about one issue doesn't mean that you're going to be able to just deal with that one issue and leave. Once you're in the pool, you're swimming in the pool.
Yep.
And so do this for the right reasons. Join for the best reasons to be able to help yourself, your community, your neighbors, the people who are disadvantaged, who need your help and support. Don't just do it because you have a thorn in your I keep saying the same thing. Don't do it because you have a bug in your ear and you want to get it out.
Yeah.
The wrong reason.
So you got a
agree.
thorn in your foot, a bug in your ear. Can't wait for the next one.
We'll get our NT17
I
rating.
was wondering where we were going to head with that one. I'm like, no.
Stay away from that, Tretzky.
No, I don't. Maybe I'll add to this, which is also if you have a thorn in your side, if you have a passion, but it's about the cause, right?
Yeah.
Because I do think we
Right.
see a lot of like really noble causes that we can have some fire behind it, fire in our belly around. And that I do implore people to get behind your cause.
Yeah.
And it's also part of being about the solution. So we're not the board is, and the board related roles are about future strategic direction. And so even coming in with passion, you're still not going to solve for like maybe that one thing that happened that day, right? You're looking for long-term impact. And so use the fire in your belly and the skills, but to also add that holistic strategic point of view that can move that cause forward.
Yeah. You got to believe in the mission. It's
100%.
It's imperative. Yeah.
And we can talk about that kind of problem for a long time, because I think one of the other problems that people have is there's so much, it's overwhelming. I tend to look at things in segments. So there's segments of my life I'd love to impact. Homelessness problems or illiteracy or training, and then find an organization that fits a lot of the passions I have, like you were talking about before, Carlee, and then find one that is either close to me or close to my heart.
Yes.
And I'm willing to make a sacrifice and say, hey, I have skills that you might be able to utilize. How can I help you?
Yeah.
And then you put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Enjoying the conversation? Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode packed with insights and strategies. Now, let's dive back in. How do you put yourself out there? How do you find a board? How do you select which cause? Because there are so many. I mean, there are things like the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, which tries to cure bloodborne diseases for kids. There's autism societies. There's illiteracy. There's a ton of things from a health perspective. Then there are the PTAs and the education and the town and there's so many different things. Where do we begin?
I think it's starting with the question that we've been kind of circling around right now. Like, what are you passionate about? Like, what causes, conversations, impact are you looking to contribute to? And then within that, what skills or experiences do you want to highlight, do more of, lean into? And I think, and then the last question being like, also then what can you give, right? Is it a little bit of time? Is it a big amount of time? Do you have any like financial pieces that you can give or not? And so these are the things I think at the onset help you to then go on the journey. So I think answering those three big questions to start doesn't mean you have to have it totally fleshed out. I think it's just like when you're on a job search, like what are you looking for so you can go to market? And then the how do I find it? This is a great question. So I will start with what is often given as advice, which is just ask.
Yeah.
So let's extend what that means. Say you're already volunteering. Talk to somebody about, hey, I'm already volunteering. I'd love to get more involved. I'd love to talk to somebody about the board and see if there's any openings or conversation we can have there. So I'll just go on an example of what just ask looks like. Then there are programs out there that are fueled nationally. Like I'll give an example. There's a nonprofit called Board Source that helps with, we'll call it nonprofit board matching. So you can go in based on your skill sets and interests, and you can do a big search. There are also those programs locally. So for example, I actually did a board matching service here in Baltimore with an organization, and that's how I found one of my boards. You can also take some of the advice we've been chatting about and think about what's in your city, your town, where you already intersect. And are there boards there? So, for example, in Baltimore, I work on the City of Baltimore Workforce Development Board. I found that because our mayor posted on Instagram that they were taking applications for their boards. And I'm like, I didn't even know I could, as a citizen, serve on a board in the city. So those are just kind of a few, kind of running the gamut from anywhere from ask for the places that you're already involved with or like to get involved with, to these resources that you can tap into to find. And maybe I'll leave one last one, which is, we all have friends. I have a ton of friends that actually work in nonprofit. You can also ask them, hey, do you need any help? Like, I'd love to be your partner. Like, how are you thinking about your board? So use your network and your intersection points, if you have them, to also tap into to explore.
Would you start, though, by volunteering first? Because...
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I meant to add that in there, too, because I was thinking this starts to go with what's your interest? Are you already kind of contributing? At the very least, are you participating in the programs? Because I think you get a feel for obviously what's being delivered and how that impact is showing up. So to be a strategic partner at the organization, you want to know what the impact is and how that's showing up. So for sure. And I think that sits with what's your passion. Being passionate about something and connecting is also about showing up. Would be a way to put that. So thank you for highlighting that, because it's hugely important.
Yeah.
And I think that passion is so important with being a board member, because being on a board can be hard, and sometimes you have to make tough decisions. Sometimes there can be disagreements among board members, and you've got to be invested in it. You've got to be fully invested in it. And I think one of the things that I've seen is that you get somebody you talk to them and they're on 8 boards. And the question in my mind is always, how much are you able to contribute? And I'm not saying that people can't. Some people can do that much, but I do feel like it's one of those things where, going back to the theme we were just talking about, pick your passion, really focus on it, be a good contributing board member, and the organization is going to be better because of that.
Yeah, I love that. And I would add in that time pieces, know your scope. Are you serving on the board in a whole role? Are you in that advisory role, committee role? And to your point around service, there's a handshake that comes with this, right? Nonprofit needs support in particular areas. I can provide that. When you go to make that relationship, I think it's the commitment to deliver. So if you're signing up for 1 or 2 or 3, are you in service to those needs? And if you're not, it's time to reevaluate your time and capacity to deliver on that. Because nonprofit boards also don't want to just fill with passion. They want people who are active and are contributing and engaging.
Right.
Well, and I think it actually, sometimes passion gets in the way, because passion needs to be tempered with reality.
Yeah. And
a lot of times, and the reason why I brought up the Lymphoma and Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is, I talked to them a long time ago about some of the people that were fundraising for them, and they were really great, passionate people, but they weren't professional fundraisers. And your passion can sometimes overwhelm the need.
Yeah.
And if you're a professional, you'll be able to make tough decisions, and you'll be able to overcome the passion with what's the right decision for the organization at the right time.
Yeah.
So don't be blind to what the mission is.
Yes.
Make sure the mission gets served by the reality.
Agreed. I wanted to mention one other thing. It went back to your question of where you can get access, and I don't want to leave without sharing this, which is back to skills. And we've been talking about skills. I'm going to add experience. And another place that people can look for access or entry point into nonprofit boards or board related work is think about your employer. You probably serve in communities, you probably serve other nonprofits. If you're in an industry, for example, I'm in hospitality, that reaches a ton of stuff, human trafficking, early career opportunities, technology, hospitality schools. So I'm just naming a few in our ecosystem.
Sure.
These are all places, right? We spend a lot of time at work. We have a lot of industry experience that can extend really well in powerful ways.
Let me amplify what you just said. Sometimes your employer invests in those things. There was a while ago when I worked for another employer who has initials with 3 letters in it. They did a lot of work at local universities, and we were sponsoring data analysis and people analytics courseware. And one of the things I was able to do is get on a board of for Rutgers University for their data analytics program. Now, what I found out is that I really didn't have a lot of time to devote to it, but at least I was able to make it to a couple board meetings and make my voice heard. And I had to leave because I just didn't have enough time in my personal life because I was traveling all the time and whatnot. But I would say it is a very good idea, especially if you're passionate about something at work, to look at the universities around you and see if they have any board openings for that passion, because the next generation needs your help. They desperately need your help. And if you have a really big skill in an area, it might lead to some really cool things that you never thought of before.
Yep.
I always wanted to be a professor, but I have the beard for it, but I don't necessarily have the mind.
Whatever.
This is professorship right now. We're helping. We're educating and supporting the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. As we talked about before.
Yeah.
So, Carlee, what else did we miss talking about boards? Because this is such a fun conversation. We've never talked about this stuff before. Because this is nonprofit boards. Can people expect to get a paycheck from this?
In their hearts and in their souls.
Yes. Well,
in their heart.
That's the difference between a nonprofit board and a for-profit board.
Exactly. And I think for-profit board's a whole different topic, because that's another layer of like, where do you begin? Where do you have access? How does that fit in the realm? And, you were asked, like, what else do we want folks to know? Sometimes coming with, like, where do you begin also becomes with, like, all right, maybe I found a board. Like, how do I show up day one? How do I be a board member? And so I would say that just like any other role that you have, there's skills to develop. Yep. And so there are also like free programs out there for people to access to have that education. So you heard me mention BoardSource earlier. They have some programs. Northwestern University out of the Chicago area has free nonprofit management, nonprofit board essentials programs that folks can attend and learn from. And how do you tap into your network, right? Learn from others who serve on boards or nonprofits. So back to, it's important to be passionate. It's important to have the capacity to serve. And in bringing your skill set, that's also about how do I fill that strategic seat in a meaningful way. So
I'm really surprised at you, though, that you didn't mention, because you're an onboarding person, like contacting the people who are also on the board with you.
100%. I love it.
And introducing yourself and saying, hey, I just wanted to learn from you. You've been on the board for a while. What can I expect?
Yes.
I mean, you're an onboarding person, so
I said use your network extended into the other board folks. No, I love it. Or maybe even people that have served before, who's outgoing,
exactly,
who's before.
Right.
Can you meet with people that you serve? You mentioned this earlier? Are you out there doing the programs? Make that a part of your onboarding for sure. I love that.
Yeah. Well, Carlee, this has been fun.
Yes.
I don't think I could ever have imagined when we first started this that we'd be talking about nonprofit boards 250 episodes in, but this is the perfect way of getting that 250 and you are the best. We are so honored to have you not only as a guest, but also as our friend. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to talk about something close to my heart. And congratulations to both of you on 250. Looking forward to the next 250. But as always, you are serving us in our HR communities, and pleasure to be a part of it. And just immense amount of gratitude and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here. Always love when we get the emails or you respond to our emails and we plan another session.
Yeah.
Always a highlight for us. So
yeah. And just so everybody knows, Carlee is one of those people who is so generous with her time and with her ability to take what are in some ways very difficult or sometimes very hard topics and actually make them just dead easy to understand. So thank you, Carlee.
Thank you. And I will add, which is when you mentioned time, I'm also very happy to connect with folks if they want to talk more about nonprofit board service, because we mentioned network and chatting with people. I'm happy to be of service in that way too. This is very important.
Well, thank you very much, both of you.
thank you.
Thank you all for listening. Take care and stay safe. Thank you for listening to the HR Data Labs podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share it with your network. Also, check out the HR Data Labs Brown Bag Lunch every Friday on LinkedIn. You can also check out the recordings on Spotify. Thank you, take care, and stay safe.